Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel. It's a lovely Friday morning and we're back with another live stream. Again, looking ahead to a match coming up this weekend in the FA Cup against Fulham. The third time we've played Fulham now. The last two haven't exactly been the most exciting games. Our mission today, really, is to come up with a starting 11 to face this Fulham side that can get us the win, but also maybe provide us with an entertaining performance. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, a straightforward weekend, because let's be honest, whilst there were a lot of positives from the Ipswich game, it was also difficult. We made life much more difficult for ourselves than it needed to be. So maybe today we can come up with an 11 that can win this match convincingly. Has that happened all season? Perhaps not. In terms of when we get to coming to the 11, it's a little bit tough because, of course, naturally you've got cup rotation, we've got certain players injured, and certain players suspended as well. So we are a little bit limited on our options for this one. But that does perhaps potentially mean we can talk a little bit more about tactical rotations on the pitch and things like that, as opposed to purely the personnel that we are going to be picking for this 11. So it might actually give us the chance to talk about something a little bit different. Steve, good morning to you, my friend. How are you? How you been? I'd give my right arm for a simple 3-0. Have we had it all season, right? I mean, we had Everton under Amram at Old Trafford, the 4-0 win. But even that, 4-0, obviously, it looked quite simple in the end, looked quite straightforward. But it wasn't if you actually watched the game, right? Can you imagine if we just turn up, produce just a calm performance where, like you said, we're 2-0 up by half-time, we score another after around 60 minutes, and we're just living our best life. And we're actually controlling the ball and playing well. We're not putting the ball in our own net. We're not two-footing anyone in the shin. Does that exist anymore in football? Is that actually possible or not? I don't actually know, because I could not tell you the last time we've seen that. Always scared when we play Fulham. This Fulham side is pretty good. They're in the top 10 in the Premier League this season. They're a good side. They're difficult to beat. They sort of do all of the basics really well. They've obviously got a good side. Physically, they're really nice. Technically, a lot of good players in there as well. And tactically, I always feel that they get a lot of the basics right, which kind of gives them that platform to then excel. So yeah, Fulham, never an easy game. There's plenty of players there which are a threat. Iwobi is someone who always seems to perform against United. I don't know if it's just me that has that feeling, but I swear he always turns up against us. Adama Traore, we know the threat there. Jimenez, a good striker, good midfielders. It's a good side. It's not an easy one for United. When we pick this 11, there are a few things that we do need to keep in mind. Feel like we have one over them all the time, despite them being a good side. I mean, there's an argument. Are both games this season 1-0, right? I believe we've won both of them 1-0. I would say the first game against Fulham at Old Trafford, literally first game of the season, I think United were the better team. It wasn't the most entertaining match, but I think we deserved the 1-0 win. More recently, when we faced them at Craven Cottage, we weren't very good at all. We were not very good at all, but we still won 1-0 with... Was that the Lissandro Martinez long ranger? Was that game? I think it might have been. They perform way better too. Yeah, they're a good side. They're a good side. Top 10 is actually a major achievement, and not being top 10 is nothing to be ashamed of, right? Yeah, I mean, it's tough to get into the top 10 in the Premier League, right? Right? Sometimes it takes spending 4 billion, not 3 billion, to get into the top 10, so we shouldn't be too hard on ourselves. It's 11 men that play football, and therefore a bit of a bogey team for us. Honestly, Matt, that's a pretty good way of summing it up. If they play football, if they've kicked a football in their lives, there's a chance it could go wrong for United, is how I would describe it. Who else we got in the chat? David, good morning to you, my friend, with the links as always. Guys, in the chat, you will see links at the top. One is to the second channel. Pretty cool. We're talking about different teams for once. So if you are a little bit bored of United, go over there and we'll see some different football talk. But also the Discord as well. So guys, make sure to check that out. Linked at the top of the chat. We've also got Chad. Good morning to you. We got everybody. We got all the regulars. All the regulars. I think I called you irregulars for a second there. All the regulars is what I'm trying to say. Good morning to you guys. Hope you're well. Hope you're well. Hope you're well. When you set your players to tackle harder on Football Manager, you're going to pick up some red cards like this. It wasn't great from Dorgu, was it? It wasn't great. I mean, I don't think there's any malice in it. He's not gone in to hurt the bloke. He's just completely mistimed it and ended up... I mean, if the leg is planted, that guy could have broke his shin in half, so at least no one died in the tackle. It's not ideal to have him now missing for a bit. He was doing well, I felt. At least we got him fresh for the Europa League. I guess that is the one positive. And also, hopefully he gets a chance in the international break. I don't know. AJ, are you sick? Don't get me started, mate. Do not get me started. I have had enough of being ill. You guys know me. Those that have been around here for a while. I seem to have the worst immune system in history. I went a good 7-8 months without picking up anything. And this is my third time being ill in the last, 10 weeks. It's ridiculous. I've had enough of it. I've changed my diet. I'm exercising more. I'm sleeping better. I'm trying to do everything better. And I'm still just getting absolutely battered by these illnesses. But hopefully, this one doesn't seem too bad. This one just feels like a cold. So I think we're going to be all right. But yeah, thank you for noticing. You can probably hear it in my voice. But yeah, we just got to live with it. What we got in the chat? We got David with a gifted membership. And do you know how I knew that? Because I saw love hearts in the chat. So guys, thank you very much for pointing that out. I'm not going to miss it this week. David, thank you very much as always. Literally always, by the way. I don't know the last time we streamed and you didn't give the membership. David, it's just amazing support. Thank you very much. Got to get on the vitamin D supplement, my man. It's right here, mate. Right here. Right here. Your white blood cells defend like us on set pieces. Honestly, it's facts. Or like us on counterattacks, anything like that. Yeah, I'm sort of fed up a bit, but hey ho, we move. We carry on. Carry on to picking a starting 11 for this game. We need to work our way from the goalkeeper to the back three, to that 4 across the middle, and then the front 3 as well. And we're going to start off with the goalkeeper. Normally, there isn't too much of a conversation here, right? Normally, it's Onana is our starting goalkeeper. Bish, bash, bosh, put him in the team. This is a cup game. Is Bayindir fit? Is he available? I don't know. If someone could tell me, that would be amazing. I've got him in the thumbnail. I know he's had a knock recently. I don't actually know if he's available for this game or not. But at the same time, just because he's annoying me, I would love for us to try and do everything to avoid Onana, because I've had enough of this bloke. I haven't had enough of this bloke. I still think he's a very good goalkeeper. But he does our heads in a little bit, doesn't he? I personally think he's to blame for the first goal the other night. Like I said, I'd done it in a video last night. I think it's difficult for Dorgu because he's watching where the player is. He's watching where the ball is. He's got Onana coming out towards him. I've played fullback before in real life. And I know as that ball comes over the top, it's a nightmare. Because your keeper's somewhere. He's going to move and do something, but you are trying to watch the flight and you've got a man on your shoulder. It is difficult. It is difficult. I think Dorgu, he should probably still do better, right? I think for me, when a communication is that bad, it's on both players, is how I would always view it. But for me, Onana, it's him. Onana's got to do better with it. He's got to just approach the whole situation a little bit differently. So I would like us to not play him, personally, because no one's undroppable. If you're not playing well, get out of the team, mate. But do we have Bayindir to bring in? I don't know. We've got Harrison, if not. What number is Harrison? Do we know? Is he number 40? Because I haven't actually put him in the selection here. Onana is the senior player. He needs to either take full control of the ball or at least to communication. For me, I said it in the video last night. If you look at Onana's body language, that doesn't scream to me he doesn't look like he was coming out and screaming at Dorgu. Aman's just put it in the chat. You need the big keeper shout, right? That this is my ball and I'm just going to take out anyone that gets in the way. Onana's body language did not look at all like that's how he approached that situation. It wasn't a dominant goalkeeper coming flying out, screaming for the ball. He just looked like he kind of walked out towards the ball and just expected it to fall to him. So I'm blaming him personally. Dorgu also doesn't cover himself in glory either. Also, mate, I was not left back on the bench. I was right back. And sometimes on the bench. Yeah. Is Harrison number 40? Because I want to get him in here. Is he number 40? Does anyone know? 40? I'm going to call him 40. I'm going to call him 40. Why not? Steve really hates that everyone gets injured by Onana. Hey, we've all had those Wi-Fi issues in the past. We've all had them. I understand the trouble, mate. If Onana shouted keepers, then it's Dorgu's fault. Why was Onana completely silent? It's obviously his fault. Yeah, I would blame him personally. Bayindir got injured in training, apparently. Yeah, I do believe so. Dorgu always looked likely to get there first before the Ipswich player. Yeah, I mean, I think if Onana stays back, the Ipswich player presses with more intensity because he realises that Dorgu's under more pressure. So I don't think it would have been a dead set that Dorgu definitely gets there. I think it's one of those ones, realistically for me, Dorgu get there and lay it back to the keeper, or just kick it somewhere. Just boot it. Don't overcomplicate it. 5 minutes into the game, clear the ball. There was one just before the red card, actually, where he's in the exact same situation. He just puts out for a throw-in. I think that was ultimately how you deal with it, but we didn't, and we conceded. Anyway, goalkeepers for today, or not for today, for the weekend. What do we reckon? What do we reckon? Because if Bayindir isn't fit, which apparently seems to be the case, if he wasn't fit, then it's Onana or someone like Harrison. And I get the idea of rotating for the cup. Is Harrison really ready to start for United in this game? What do we reckon? Should we do a poll for this? Should we do a poll? Hope I'm not late for the class. Better late than never. Nah, you're actually right on time, to be fair. Second goal was definitely on Onana. See, I actually view it a little bit differently. I think the second one, he's not actually as much to blame, because I think as that ball is coming in, he's waiting for someone to touch it. He can't go early to that ball because he's just waiting for Delap or one of the centre-backs to touch the ball. So he does have to react late. He probably still should react better though, right? I guess. I don't know. Anyway, should we do a poll for this? Let's. GK. Onana. I'm not going to put Bayindir in if we believe he's unfit. There's no point in including him in the poll. So we'll put the other two in. Onana, Harrison, Bosch. There we go. In the poll. I think letting Kovar leave was a mistake. Yeah, I hadn't actually seen him really since he left, but he did seem good that pre-season, and it felt like a weird decision, particularly to then go get Bayindir anyway. Seemed a little bit odd. I watched the replay over and over. Yeah, I did the same thing as well, mate. Dorgu was looking and searching the ball the whole way until it landed, and then instantly passed to where he thought Onana was. Yeah, for me, I think Dorgu's got too many other things to concentrate on. He's dealing with three things at the same time, if you ask me. Harrison, the academy goalkeeper. Yeah. I don't think it's the right time for the kid to start. If he makes a mistake, the fan base will eat him. Yeah, for me, I would probably still, if we don't have Bayindir, I would go Onana. Do you think we need two right wing backs in the summer? I still really need to do that stream where we look at what United need in the summer, assessing the squad currently, and therefore what we need. We're going to need at least one right wing back for me, particularly if Amorim doesn't seem to see Ahmad in that position. So we're going to need at least one. Would I go as far as two sort of right wing back specialists? Probably not, because we need so much. There's so many different positions that once again we need to address. So I probably wouldn't go for two. He doesn't get low enough on time. That's been a problem in the past too. Yeah, shots that are close to him, Onana's movement just isn't very good. Particularly weirdly long ranges. He seems to really struggle with them. We need wing-backs this summer as a priority. Completely agree. Hypothetical poll, Amorim would never start Harrison. Normally I would agree if it was a league game. I think purely the fact that it's a cup game, maybe there is a possibility it can happen. Because it's a cup game, we naturally see rotation in these matches, particularly in goal. That's my only reason for including him. Onana's dominating the poll, though. I don't think we need to really let that go any further. I think, yeah. Onana. There we go. Onana's going to go in goal. Perform, please, mate. Perform. Nothing daft. Keep it simple. Keep the ball out of the net. Please and thank you. Anyway, on to the back three. Who have we got for today, if I can find them? We've got Lenny Yoro, who I think had his best? I would say his best performance in a Manchester United shirt. I remember we done a stream once upon a time, right? And I put Yoro in at left centre-back, and people then joined halfway through the stream and were absolutely screaming at me for having him in this position, going, he's not a left centre-back, why have you got him there? He can play there, right? We've seen it, he can play there. I think the other night he was really, really good. Progressive as well, which I liked as much as anything. Two-footed, several left-footed passes down this side. Obviously, I spoke about the tactical tweak, sort of getting him almost into a left-back position as we moved the ball forward, which was really interesting, something different. And I do have a comment to make here a little bit later on, particularly when we come to the wing-backs, because of the suspension issue at the moment. So we'll get to that a little bit later on. But yeah, I think Yoro played really well. I also think Maguire had a good game. At the weekend, I criticised him quite heavily. The other day in stream, I criticised him as well and said I don't think he was good enough. And that if we had the options, I would probably drop him because, he didn't play well. Move him out of the team. But I think, again, in midweek, he was really good. Really strong. Dealt with Delap pretty comfortably. Of course, got the winning goal. But just dominated most situations. However, if we're going to talk about errors for a goal again, what are your thoughts on that second one? As that ball comes in, obviously Onana again reacts late, doesn't quite deal with it. What are your thoughts on the centre-backs? And should they do more to stop it ever getting to Onana? What do we reckon? I think we should follow United heritage and spend 80 million on pure hype players and washed up Champions League winners. Yeah, why not? Why not? What could go wrong? I can't see that backfiring in any way. And I think in 3 years we'll have a great squad. Get Maguire out of there. Good morning, Manu. Hope you're well, my friend. Hey, I saw you say that he performed well the other night, and then you quickly had to backtrack and just put a little dig in as well, which I respect. I respect the hatred. We don't have many options is the only thing, right? Obviously, we've got De Ligt, who will most likely play in the back three. Mazraoui normally would come into this debate, but with the lack of Dorgu at wing-back due to suspension, we're probably going to be a little bit limited. So I'm happy to put him in a debate, but I mean, realistically, do we have an option here? Is there even a discussion to be had? Is there anyone else that could play in that three? I mean, if we are talking about it being a cup and maybe playing someone different, could Aiden Heaven come into the team? Maybe, but that would feel like quite an inexperienced back three to have Heaven and Yoro both in there. Not sure it will happen. I think, to be honest, it will just be those three. This is a game that we need to win. Obviously, we talk about the cup all the time as a sort of opportunity to rotate, to give different players a game. We need to win this. This is more important than the Ipswich game the other day. It's one of the only competitions where we actually have something to play for. So I think it'll be pretty strong. Lindelof with a world-class cameo, get him in the team. I mean, I guess to be fair, if we are trying to squad manage a little bit and make sure that everyone is fit and sharp together, Lindelof is someone to look at because he's not played much football at all. Is he someone who could do with 45 minutes in this match? Possibly, because we might need him before the end of the season. Not sure. I could get sick if I see Onana still keeps playing after Bayindir comes back. He's not done very well recently, has he, that bloke? AJ was right, Maguire can progress, not Martinez level though. Yeah, I completely agree. Completely agree. Mathematically, the top 6 is definitely still on. Mathematically. Garnacho at wing back. Again, David brought this up the other day. Maybe we can have the conversation there. Because we are low on options. Maybe we need to try something a little bit different just to give ourselves a choice at least, right? To make ourselves a little bit less predictable. If not, Fulham are probably going to look at our team and know what we're doing from the start, right? This game will likely be a defensive approach from us, not intentionally, but because of the players available. The only thing which might give us that element of control is that Fulham aren't particularly aggressive with the way that they play. They have moments, obviously, where they'll trigger the press. Most teams do that these days. But off the ball, that they are a bit more of a passive 4-4-2. So just that in itself might give us that opportunity to get on the ball, perhaps. And then if we can control it, if we take our time, then maybe we grow into the game. Not too sure. In terms of the back three, is this it, basically, yeah? Anyone disagree with this? Again, we don't really have many options here, right? It's those three, maybe Mazraoui, maybe a youth player, but we need to win the game, so you probably don't go for the youth, so it's probably that back three, right? AJ, can you structure your video about summer transfers, etc. in who fits Amarim's system, who might fit, and who can adapt, and who 100% doesn't fit and will not stay? So, talking about United's current players, right? Assessing the current squad, and then do another transfer video, and then looking at who we bring in. If so, I like it. Play Lindelof, rest De Ligt. Yeah, I guess there's an opportunity to do that. Lindelof could come in. Yeah, I did miss him there. He could come in. AJ, what are your thoughts on Bassi? I've never really specifically watched him, but anytime like I do see Fulham play, or even at former clubs, pretty good solid centre-back, to be fair. Pretty good solid centre-back. Quite comfortable on the ball. Happy to play out from the back. Physically, quite good. Fairly quick. Decent in the box. Yeah, good solid player. Lindelof to rest someone, I wouldn't mind that. Okay, if that is the case, if you guys want Lindelof in... Actually, let's do a poll. Lindelof. And we'll just go start, bench. Right? They're the two options. The poll will be in the chat in just a second. He's rapid, not going to lie. Yeah, he's a good wide defender. He's good out here in these positions. He's the reason that Robinson can get forward so much for Fulham. This guy absolutely flies forward on the overlap. And he can do that because Bassi is going to give him that little bit of cover. Who's going to handle Traore? That would have been really interesting to see, by the way, had Dorgu been available for selection. Dorgu up against Adama. I mean, in terms of physical challenges, they don't come much tougher than that for Dorgu. So that actually would have been quite nice to see. But obviously we're not going to get that. Therefore, it's a really good test for Yoro, to be fair. Who was the... Was it Southampton we played? Where there was a player with a lot of pace, a lot of kind of raw energy up against Yoro, and Yoro got absolutely cooked. Was that Southampton? I think it might have been. It'd be interesting to see if Yoro was to play on the left in this game up against Adama. If he's learned certain lessons from that game, if he approaches the duel in a slightly different way, if he's perhaps not quite as tight to give himself more space to recover and things like that. I don't know, it'd be interesting. Yeah, instead it'll most likely be Dallo. And I think we can kind of see here as we naturally progress, the team kind of picks itself. Paul at the moment got Lindelof on the bench, which I'm not exactly surprised about. I just realised also, the background looks really dark today, and I don't know why. Why is it so dark? Sulemana, yeah, that was the one. That was the one. He was just basically... Yoro was on this side, weren't he? Basically, every time he got the ball, Sulemana, he just would knock it past him and go, and he burned him for pace. Burned him for pace. He was ridiculously quick in that game. I think Yoro would love to handle this challenge against Adama. Yeah, it's a really good chance for him to sort of show that even in such a short time, he's learned the lesson from it and he's progressed as a player. Is Dorgu out for 3 or 3 games? I'm going to go with 3 out of those 2 options. Manu, I'm going to assume that was a slight typo there, mate. Or am I being stupid? Is Dorgu out for 3 or 3 games? 3. Because all our light is taken away by United. Valid. Maybe Lindelof comes on in the second half. Yeah, I reckon he could. Anyway, should we go midfield? Should we go wing-backs? The wing-backs basically have picked themselves already. So let's go into midfield, where we could see Ugarte playing a slightly different role recently, which we should probably talk about. Bruno Fernandes. What a player. I love that bloke. I don't care how much anyone hates him. I love him. What a guy, Bruno Fernandes. Casemiro could play. Christian Eriksen. Is Collier going to be back? I haven't actually seen yet. Kobe. Nope. Sekou Kone. Maybe. You have the immune system of United. Hey, I've already addressed this, right? I'm fed up of it. I'm trying stuff to stop it. I don't want to be you anymore. AJ wanted him out last summer. Don't listen to him. If you're talking about Bruno, you're off your head, mate. Without Bruno, we'd be relegated, to be honest. He's just amazing. He is... You know, we always talk about his work rate and everything like that, his mindset, his intensity, the fact that he'll play anywhere for the team. I said it yesterday, if you ask him to play in goal, I think he'd play there and wouldn't even question it. He's that sort of player. But take all of that away for a second. Take away his ridiculously impressive mental attitude and also physical endurance, availability, everything, robustness. Take away all of that. Talk about him actually as how good he is at football. Oh my God, he's unbelievable. Unbelievable. He is a ridiculously good player. Yeah. Why does he play for our football club? He's way too good for this football club. Way too good. He's unbelievable. He is unbelievable. I love him. Bruno is top 10, maybe 5 midfielders for United ever. He's just unbelievable. I love him. I could sit and talk about Bruno Fernandes all day and why he is everything that this football club should be. Does he have a couple of flaws? Yeah, probably, right? He does. We've covered him before. But fundamentally, what he is as a person and what he is as a player, I think is everything that United should be. In my opinion. 120 viewers have not liked the stream. That's not okay, in my opinion. I think we need some likes, and also, I need a drink. So guys, if you could please leave a like whilst I have this drink, that'd be great. Also, if you're new around here, subscribe, notifications on, subscribe to the second channel, and join the Discord. Top 10 ever is a stretch. It's difficult to say, right? I'm a fairly young individual, I like to think, so I haven't seen every United midfielder ever. Certainly, as long as I've watched, he's right up there. United have been blessed with some very good midfielders over time, though, but I think Bruno is really up there. All of that just for Bruno to be hammered by pundits. Yeah. Thoughts on that, guys? I haven't actually got anything set up here with Roy Keane's big old face on it. But thoughts on Roy Keane's comments on Bruno, but also just former United players in general and the way that they talk about his football club, because it's so unhealthy. The relationship between former United players and current United is it's a toxic relationship. It's awful. The second channel is called AJ Talks Tactics. You can search for it on YouTube. It's also linked on my community tab on this channel, but also at the top of the chat there is currently a pinned comment as well. I agreed with Ian Wright, and I can't believe I just said that. This is my opinion on it, right? It always seems as though former players from other clubs, like your Arsenals, etc., seem to get it more than what former United players do. I mean, apart from certain ones, right? Jamie Carragher at Liverpool, I think there's an element of bias in the way that he goes about doing things. Fair enough, he's entitled to do that. So I wouldn't say he's necessarily someone that understands. But like you said there, someone like Ian Wright seems to get it more. I honestly think what it is for me personally is, and I put it in the Discord earlier, former United players almost talk about United as though it's a club or the club that it was 20 years ago. It's not that football club. These players talk about the pressure of playing for the biggest club in the world and all these things, right? They did that, all right? Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, Gary Neville, whoever. They played for the biggest team in the world under immense amounts of pressure. But they played under a pressure in an environment where they won football matches and were a good football team. So the pressure of being, let's say, United realistically top 3 clubs in the world in terms of stature, in terms of the amount of focus on the club and everything. The pressure from being a top 3 club in the world and winning everything is very different to being a top 3 club in the world and being sat in, 15th or 16th. It's a very, very different type of pressure. There's a very different pressure to trying to win everything, trying to win as opposed to trying not to lose, right? United these days, we go into an Ipswich game and we're all sitting there going, can you imagine if we lose? It's a very, very different pressure. It's a very different environment. It's just not the football club that these guys played in. That's why the likes of, other clubs, other former players get it a bit more, because someone like Ian Wright would have played for Arsenal. There was a lot of pressure to win and they won stuff, but they didn't win everything. Chelsea legends will probably get United a little bit more because they were under the pressure of playing for a big club and they didn't quite win everything, unlike United did. The former United players, fair play to them, they won the trophies. Fair play. But they played at a club where they won everything. They played under the best manager of all time. They played in the best environment at a football club probably of all time. That is not what United are right now. So it's completely different. I think that's why they feel so out of touch with everything. It sounds stupid because everyone thinks they're former United players. They should understand. I don't think they could be further from understanding actually what this football club is and actually where it's at. It's either that, or they don't want to, because they don't want a United team to be successful because they don't want their success competed with. Some people say that. I don't know if I buy into that so much. Not sure. But the pressure is so different. It's such a different environment and club and everything to what it was when these guys were succeeding. So, particularly to go in on Bruno, I just don't get it. What? How do you look at this football club the last 5 years, right? Bruno's been here just over 5 years now. How do you look at this last 5 years and go, Bruno, he's the problem? Like, seriously. How do you single out Bruno Fernandes for the problems of the last 5 years, but also going further back than that as well? It's mental to me. Like, I actually can't get my head around it. The fact that you think Bruno is the problem. Or, not that he's the problem. Roy Keane doesn't think that. He knows there's more problems than that. But he thinks that Bruno is the one worth singling out in that moment. It's absolutely crazy to me. Absolutely crazy to me. Anyway, little waffle session aside, Bruno Fernandes should probably start this game, right? He should probably start, and realistically, he should probably start alongside Ugarte. Anyone disagree with that? If Keane, Scholes and Neville had anything of worth to offer Manchester United, they would work for the club, just saying. They feel out of touch because they are out of touch. Exactly. Exactly. Paul Scholes saw an inverted fullback and cried witchcraft and tried to burn Pep at the stake. Yeah, they're out of touch. Like I said, they feel like they're out of touch because they are. They just don't understand. They don't understand. We don't either, by the way. We also don't play under that pressure and everything. But, oh my days. Oh my days. Beat him up, AJ. Beat up Roy Keane. I'll be honest, not going to back myself in that one. He can get that angry sitting at a table talking to Ian Wright. I don't want to know how angry he'd be with me. So I think I'm going to avoid that fight. Anyway, I know we won't, but I'd kill for us to give Bruno a rest. Bruno rest. Doesn't exist. Not happening. No, I do agree, though. I was saying that the other day, actually. In terms of the longevity of Bruno's career. And how much longer can he be around? I would love this guy to win a Premier League title for us, right? We're quite far away from that happening. Is he going to still be at United by that time? I'm not sure. I think a way that we eventually, in the next 18 months, need to try and help him is to improve as a team initially, right? Who'd have thought? But we need to try and get to a point where we can protect this guy a little bit. Even in the past 4 years, we've always had those games in the FA Cup, for example, in the Europa League sometimes, where you look at it and go, this is one of those games where hopefully we're going to be 2 or 3 up by the 60th, and then we can bring Bruno off and protect him for 30 minutes. Even in those games, we've been so bad that we've actually had to run him into the ground till the 90th, sometimes even the 120th. So we need to eventually get to a point where we can protect him. Unfortunately, we're not in that place right now. Like you said, it's not going to happen. We're not going to rest him. We need to try and help him in the next year, though. Hopefully, have I got him here? I haven't. Mason Mount is someone that could do that if he stays at the club and stays fit, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. But we need to eventually try and protect him a little bit. Bruno will win the Prem as a 36-year-old. I'd love it. How old is Bruno right now? Little stutter there. How old is Bruno? Paul Scholes genuinely gets scared when he doesn't see a 4-4-2. Yeah. Just sad, really, isn't it? To see that you just can't move with what's happening. Just so stuck in that past. I don't know Bruno's goals and assists whilst he's been at the club, but I bet in a 5-year period it's one of the highest in Europe, and people can say stat padding all you want, but you still got to do it. I completely agree. I think the stat I saw yesterday was that since Bruno joined the club, talking Premier League here, only Salah and De Bruyne have had more assists, I think. I think that's the case. Maybe I'm wrong there. Is FP here, the stat man? Anyway, obviously, first of all, you got to go fair play De Bruyne, because that man's had a lot of injuries, so still to produce those numbers is pretty impressive. But just look at the environment, the club, the level of teams that Salah and De Bruyne have been playing in over the past 5 years. For Bruno to be anywhere near them is genuinely quite impressive. I mean, it's not quite impressive. It's ridiculous. To be competing with those two, when you compare the clubs, compare where Liverpool and City have been for the past 5 years, and to think Bruno Fernandes, currently sat in 15th in the league, is producing numbers close to those two, it's insane. It's insane. The first year with us, only Messi had more goals and assists. It's just absurd. What a player. What a player Bruno Fernandes is. Bobby the Bob, good morning to you, my friend. Are you skipping classes today or no? Bruno has created more chances than any other player. Imagine if he had an adult striker in front of him. An adult striker is such a good way of wording it. Oh, I love that. Speaking of a striker, or certainly players for him to try and create for, who have we got for the front three this weekend, my friends? Who have we got in terms of choices? Højlund, Xerxes, Garnacho. Ericsson? Ericsson for the front four. Maybe Chidowobi. I haven't got him written down, but he could come in as well. We don't have many players, do we? Certainly not many players that we feel that we can actually turn to and rely on. Do we need the conversation on Garnacho and the thoughts on... Pardon me. The thoughts on Garnacho's actions, shall we say, after being subbed off the other day? I get it, right? I get it. He was having a good first half. You don't want to be subbed off. No player wants to be subbed off. I think it's actually, in a way, a good attitude that you don't want to come off the pitch, right? He should want to feel that he can stay on and make the difference. The going to the changing room, I think, has been blown out of proportion, right? I believe it was just confirmed that actually he was going to get like a second shirt or something like that, right? I believe he came back out for the second half and I don't think there was anything in that. The social media issue thing afterwards, where he, seemed to be more focusing on himself rather than the fact that the club had just won 3-2. It's not ideal. I think what the boy needs is social media training, or if he's not the one posting it, if it's a social media team, they're not very good at their jobs. It brings unwanted and unnecessary attention and focus to him. To me, the way that I see it is, if he did just go and change shirt, right, because it was heavy rain, if he just went and changed shirt and then came back out, no issue, there's nothing in it. The social media post afterwards, a little bit stupid, right? Use your brain, mate. Read the room. It's not what you need to be doing at the time. But I don't think it's a droppable offence. Personally, I don't think he done an awful lot wrong. It's just kind of like, why'd you do that, mate? Why'd you do that? But move on. It's a silly move. He's a young lad. Again, we're talking about social media post here. It's just a bit daft. It's just a bit daft. Learn from it, please, because your social media and how you act is mind-boggling at times. But I think, and a really famous teenager at that, he's going to make mistakes. He's going to get it wrong. The social media post was wrong. It was not the thing to do at the time, but it also wasn't that bad, right? It was just a bit egotistical, all about himself. But hey-ho. Like I said, the actual going to the dressing room thing, I believe it was just blown out of proportion, and then actually quickly we realised what actually happened, I think. So for me, we don't need to drop him. If you want to drop him for tactical reasons, you want to make a tweak, you want to see something different, fine, we can discuss that. But I don't think he's someone that needs to be dropped for his behaviour, personally. If you disagree, let me know. Thoughts on the other two? Take Ericsson out for a second. Højlund and Xerxes and their performances the other night. What did you make of them? I think Xerxes recently has shown us something. I think he played pretty well. He looked knackered the other night. When Højlund come off, Xerxes was almost looking like, please be me. Please be me, you're taking off, because I'm fucked. He didn't want to keep running, but he did carry on, and he done well. And I think he had a decent all-round performance. I think having that kind of technical sticking point in the team is handy. Højlund gets closer and closer to that 20 games without a goal, at which point we're going to do a video assessing what's going wrong for him. He gets closer and closer to that week by week. He's not performing, but I don't know that the other day he had a terrible performance. I think one of the big points that everyone has picked up on was that move where Yoro goes down the left-hand side, dribbles like he's prime Rafael Varane. Remember when Varane used to do those dribbles? They were good fun. Gets the ball into the box, actually picks out the final pass, by the way. Shout out Yoro, get him up front. And Højlund lets it go through his legs. Now, I think a lot of people's kind of immediate reaction to that was the lack of confidence. Should he be shooting at goal? For me, it's a bit of a funny one, because if he lets it roll through his legs and Bruno arrives on the edge of the box and puts it in, or I think Ugarte was the closest one, actually. If Ugarte arrives and slams that into the top corner, we're talking about pure genius from Højlund, selfless striker play, someone who needs a goal but still had the intelligence to let the ball roll, and someone put it in the back of the net, right? So it's weird. I think any time you try something like that in the box, particularly as a striker who's not scoring and is under pressure, I think any time you try something a little bit different, a bit of flair, a weird trick, a dummy, something like that, if it works, you're called a genius. If it doesn't, you're called an idiot. Is I think how I read that one personally. Zhao was saying he thinks Rasmus done the right thing there. Yeah, perhaps a striker at peak confidence just takes it and hits it. Maybe. But I also don't think it was catastrophic what he done. I don't see... Like I said, if someone arrives behind him and hits it, then zero awareness of what's behind him. You don't just randomly do a dummy while you're 10 men. The thing is, Højlund is right in a sense that someone should have been there. Obviously, we can argue maybe he should have had more of a look, been more scanned, been more of aware of who was there. But he is right in the sense that someone should have been. When the striker makes the run across the near like that, towards the ball, because we've actually scored from this recently, when he makes that run, someone should be there. Like, he is right. Someone should be there. But also, perhaps you're right, so he should be more aware that no one was. Either way, I think it's another one of those ones where I don't think it's that big a deal. It's a bit frustrating in the moment, but I don't think it's something to be caught up on, right? Like, it happened. Meh. It happened. It happened. Like, we didn't score from it. Hopefully next time he makes the right decision. Would that be the same thing again? Possibly, if the movement's better. Maybe he needs to take the shot on himself. But I don't see a big deal there. Was a gamble, though, because he wasn't aware who was behind him, but the idea was right. Yeah, I think in theory, the movement pattern to get near across the near post is good. The idea of he's now moved near, which creates space on the edge, is right. In theory, he is right that someone would be there. Perhaps he does need to recognise that with 10 men, it's less likely to have that player there. Perhaps he should be scanning and having a look. Perhaps we do just want our striker hitting the ball there. Maybe. But I don't think it's awful. Højlund has been the only player to get into the box since McTominay left. Weird choice. Anyway, we've got an interesting hypothetical here from Steve. I really like this. If we get a penalty this weekend at 0-0, let's actually say particularly if it's early on in the game, Steve. Let's go 35th minute, penalty for United, 0-0 at the time. Do you let Højlund take it to try and get some confidence, or do you give it to Bruno? What do you reckon? I want to see some thoughts on that. Good morning, Corey, mate. How are you? He had enough space to shoot. He just had zero confidence. Maybe needs a loan. Yeah, I mean, in terms of the conversation of a loan, it's going to be difficult to do because if we loan him, we're going to have to sign a 60 million striker to replace him, which financially is not going to be easy for us because if we loan him out, we're still going to be paying some of his wages. So it is a little bit difficult. Bruno has beef with Keane, so he will take it, maybe. What if he misses? If he misses, though, yeah, I mean, can you imagine that? The poor bloke. I just want him to score. Personally, I'd give it to Bruno, right? I think we're in a position where we need to win the game. If he misses, then release him. Yeah, I like it. If someone is rested, who would it be? Maybe Dalot. To be honest, I just don't think we're in the position to rest players. I don't think we are. I don't like, this. 2 fullbacks at wing-back. I've spoken about that plenty of times, how much I just don't think it works for us, particularly Dalot on the left, but we don't have a choice there. Midfield, could we change something? Maybe. Eriksen could come in, but you're not going to take either of these two out if you really want to win the game. Could Eriksen come into the front 3? Perhaps there's more of a discussion point there, but I think this 11 picks itself. I'll give it to Onana because he's the boy. Because he's the one that needs confidence. Yeah, also fair. Yeah, I agree, not in a position to rest players. Yeah, we're not in a position in terms of we need the win, we're desperate. But also, if we did want to rest someone, our options to bring in realistically are Eriksen, Casemiro, Lindelof for a youth player. We don't really have too many options. Chad, that's an incredible comment. Guys, let's read it out. I believe that if this chat got off their fat asses, then we could get to 100 likes. Chad's words, not mine. Not my words. Not my words. But, I mean, I feel like we should be pressing like. So, press like. Please. 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 Have you pressed it yet? I'll just sit and wait for a second. Have you pressed like yet? Anyone want to press like? Anyone? Okay, I'm seeing a few more. Okay, thank you very much, guys. I might do Eriksen for Højlund and let Xerxes have a go as the 9. The only, I guess, the question mark I'd have over that is Xerxes perhaps is starting to build a bit of momentum playing in a deeper position. People saying they're happy to like the stream but not get up. I respect that very much. I respect that. That's a mood right there. Yeah, the problem with moving Xerxes up top and taking Hoyland out for a game is Xerxes maybe getting some momentum deeper. And I think tactically he's helping us. Anyway, that's what I wanted to comment on earlier. Is there a chance, right, Fulham mid-block 4-4-2 off the ball a lot of the time, not always. Is there a chance for us to go into a similar shape to what we did the other day? Dalot from the left, inverting here, Garnacho playing wide. Gives us a bit more, in my opinion. I mean, the right side's going to struggle, right? That doesn't look like extreme attack and threat to me. So I think they'd struggle a little bit. But I wonder if tactically this might be the shape to go for, the shape to take up. Again, trying to get Xerxes in that hole, Bruno in that hole there. Even if they drop, he can play in front. I think we should look for that. The other thing I want to talk about tactically is I was very positive after Ipswich because of a tactical tweak that we saw where Bruno would go into the back four like so, and we would split. Now, the reason we're doing this is to get rid of the U, right? We keep talking about this, the horseshoe shape, where we get stuck here and we go around, and then we go around, and then we go around, and then we go around again. The shift to the shape, the back four, is to try and change that. Because first of all, there's 5 players involved in this at the moment. When we move to more of the back four, like so, it's less players for a start. So it's less players. The other thing is, these two, who are wing backs and actually almost inviting pressure in the horseshoe shape, are now pushed much higher up the pitch, almost as wingers, to pin the opposition back more. This is good. I like it. I like that we're trying to do this. I like that we're trying to find solutions. However, every tweak has a drawback, right? And there is a big drawback with this tweak that we haven't been exposed for yet, but I just want to point it out so we're not shocked if it does happen. What do you see as an issue when I put us in this shape? Let's move Garnacho in. Let's go Dalot up there. So let's say, yeah, Bruno's dropped in, Yoro's gone wide, Dalot's pushed into the role that Dorgu was playing the other day, Garnacho's inside. What do you see as the issue here? If you see any issue at all. What do you reckon? Hoyland isn't working. Why keep doing it? Chido Obi, is he an option? Maybe. I feel like right wing back is a position that a youth player could tackle, especially with support and experience from Delict and Ugarte, although I don't have a name in mind. I do think it is something that you can experiment with a little bit. Midfield too open, midfield question mark, no midfield, no bodies in the midfield. Yeah. There's 2 issues here for me, realistically. First of all, we've emptied the midfield. Now, you'll sit there and go, but teams do this. A lot of teams play with a solo pivot. They do, right? They do. But normally if teams play with a solo pivot these days, you've either got a back 3 behind them to cover the channels, or 2 fullbacks are going to come a little bit narrower, like what City have often done. Liverpool sometimes do this, to help him out. The problem we've got here is that, first of all, the midfield is empty. Okay? That's an issue in transition. It's also an issue in terms of central progression, right? Because it's actually difficult to get in here and progress because there's no one really to play to. So that is a slight concern when we move to this tactical shape. The other thing, and I did comment on this yesterday, is purely profile positioning. De Ligt as a progressive right back, essentially here, he's not that, right? Yoro on the left played really well the other day, but he's still not a left back. You know, it's not like having a Dorgu starting left back and playing in this position and getting forward. It's not ideal. Also, Bruno Fernandes now playing as a situational centre back alongside Harry Maguire. It's not the dream centre back pairing. So when we do lose the ball, I think I'm a little bit worried. I'm a little bit worried that when we move to this shape, and if we do lose it, we are in trouble. Now, granted, the other day, we actually did a good job of keeping the ball in these moments, which is, you know, a testament to the fact that the shape is good, that it allows us to get players in different positions and it asks different questions and causes different problems. But there's always the but that when we do lose it, we're going to be in trouble because we've got essentially Ugarte, Garnacho, Xerxes as our midfield rest defence, and these 2 are quite high. We've got Bruno, like I said, as a centre-back. I'm just a little bit worried about it. A little bit worried about it. Again, so far it's working, but just something to keep in mind. The insane lack of left footers is whack too. I really want us to address that in the summer. I love a left-footed footballer anyway, but we really do lack them. We really do lack them. The other thing I do want to talk about actually quickly is that I do think the other shape that we were moving into was good. And by the way, that shape we just spoke about, do it in moments. You just got to be careful when you pick and choose to do it. If the ball's at risk, don't do it, basically. The other shape that we were moving into was very much the diamond shape. And I spoke about this yesterday with the opposition. When they play 4-4-2, they want to get narrow. They want to have their bank of 4 across there. That room for the wide parts of the diamond to pull into was really nice. Because with them wide, they're an easy pass. If Fulham want to stop that being an easy pass, they've got to split a little bit. They've got to go just a little bit wider to stop the ball. And let's say the same thing on this side. They've got to pull a little bit wider to stop the ball. The problem now for them is that we can go through the middle. From Bruno to Xerxes, or we saw Maguire play 2, was it 3? I think it was 2 really nice passes through lines to Xerxes. It tactically does cause a few problems for Fulham. It does ask more questions of them, which I like. I like to see this progression. I think this is why I've been a bit more positive this week. I think we are seeing steps in the right direction. It's obviously not perfect, very, very aware of that. But I think this is progression in the sense of what I've been saying and repeatedly saying in streams recently is I want United to ask the questions, to be the team on the front foot, on the ball, challenging the opposition, forcing them to react to what we're doing, rather than always being on the back foot and the opposition taking over and things like that. I felt in this game, but also in the second half against Everton, we're starting to see that. We are starting to see a United team that do ask more questions, and I like it. Yes, I've seen a comment in the chat that I wanted to see. I haven't seen anyone talking about this yet. This shape could work, and I think here we're talking about this one, but also the last one that we just spoke about, with Onana actually being used as a ball-playing keeper. He steps into the back 4, then Bruno could step up into the midfield. Yes. Again, it's still not ideal in terms of Euro and De Ligt out wide. I think you can get away with one of them, probably not both, if we're talking long-term project. But rather than Bruno dropping here to make up the extra man, can Onana move here? I think he can. And then we get Bruno in midfield still, alongside Ugarte in this phase of play. But still, we're pushing players high, the wing-backs, into really high positions to pin the opposition back. It is an excellent comment, my friend. Your point, in my opinion, is spot on. I would love to see us try it at some point. It may be something that maybe we don't see till next season. Perhaps it is something that's going to require a lot of training time and things like that. But I think we're capable of doing this. And again, maybe we need a different profile here. More of a fullback at centre-back playing this position. Or, next season, Euro here. Maybe Sandro Martinez here. Maybe. I'm not sure. But it's a good comment, my friend. It's a good comment. In terms of if we're going back to today, though, this weekend's game, I think, to be honest, it's that 11. I think it's that. Euro, Maguire, De Ligt across the back 3. Onana behind him. Bruno Fernandes, Ugarte midfield. Dalot and Mazraoui at wing-back. Hopefully rotations here. Xerxes, Garnacho behind Hoyland. Yeah, Onana can do that job. You can criticise Onana for so much. Please do. He deserves it. Don't be disrespectful, though. Just criticise. What you can't criticise is his ability to play the ball short. Still one of the best goalkeepers at doing that. We've just never really used it to its full potential. Ten Hag did in moments in certain games, which was nice to see. There was a game against Arsenal where Onana basically played as an extra centre-back and played really, really well. We need to see it more regularly. He also needs some confidence, right? He needs some people to get behind him. Anyway, last thing to do is your score predictions. Bit awkward that I got by India in goal there, considering he's injured. But score predictions. What do we reckon for this game? Also, did anyone get the last one right against Ipswich? 3-2? Quite impressive if you did. Anyway, this game. United versus Fulham in the FA Cup. Is there extra time or is it straight to penalties? There's no replays, we know that much. I believe it's extra time, then penalties, right? I think. I'm not sure. Anyway, score predictions for this one. Are United finally gonna keep a clean sheet? I don't think so. I just feel that we're gonna find a way at some point to concede a stupid goal. So let's straight away give the opposition one. So they've got one. How many do United score and who gets them? That's important as well. If you remember, use your emojis to predict your goal scorers. Chad, who's scoring the 1 in the 6-1 loss, mate? I'm going to go 3-1. 3-1. We basically give them a goal with a stupid error. Let's say Iwobi scores it, but it comes from an error. And we're going to score 3 goals from Bruno, because who else? Bruno gets the first. Garnacho gets the second. And the third comes from Lenny Yoro on a set piece. 3-1 Manchester United. Easy. Easy. Chad, that's quite a rogue prediction, mate. I like that. Anyway, what we got here? We've got a 6-1 loss. We've got 3-2 United as Onana is playing. Scumbag our way to Wembley. That's the best strategy. I really want Dallo to be the one to invert. I agree. Bruno and Maguire in a 2-0 win. Yes, please. 2-1. Maybe. Maybe, he says. I'm going for a 2-1. 2-1 United. Fulham score first. Usual fashion. Then United come back. 55-0 to United. Yes, please. 2-1 United. 1-0 United or penalties. Do we win on penalties? We've been alright recently. Do we win on penalties? I reckon so. 2-1 win after extra time. 2-0, 5-0, 3-all lost on penalties. Match sorted in 90 minutes. Please and thank you. 3-2 again. 2-1. I really hope Højlund can score one. 2-1 I hope. 2-1, 2-1, 2-1. Is that one of the most common predictions in football? 2-1. It's got to be up there. I will predict Erasmus goal until he scores. Bobby the Bob Bob. I love it. Højlund, Bruno, Xerxes with the goals in a 3-2 win. Bobby the Bob Bob, how long have you been predicting Højlund to score? Because if it's 18 games, maybe you're the issue here. Maybe you're causing him not to score. Have you ever thought about that? Something to think about. Anyone else find it embarrassing that the last goals have come from Maguire, De Ligt, Martinez, Ugarte, Bruno? It's not ideal. But if you have to rely on set pieces, you have to rely on set pieces. Arsenal. Goals from Yoro and Bruno. Sir Hawk with the Onana prediction. I like it. Bruno direct from a corner. Yes, please. Cobby bangs in one from the hospital. Why not? Let's have it. 2-1 says David. Don't expect Rasmus to score. He hasn't scored since December the 7th. It's not ideal, is it? It's not ideal. Jinxing. Maybe. 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 Garnacho, Bruno, and Xerxes or Ugarte. I like it. I like it. I think... No, actually. We won when I said I wasn't confident this week against Ipswich. So I'm not confident at all. We're going back to the mind games. I'll manifest Erasmus goal and I will be to thank. If he scores and we win, you'll be the first person I come to, alright? Anyway, I think we have covered pretty much everything. Again, in terms of the team selection, there isn't that much to talk about because we are quite limited, shall we say, at the moment. So I think we've covered everything there is to cover. Before we leave, if you could please leave a like on the stream, it'd be amazing. Subscribe to the channel, get notifications on. Please, that'd be amazing. We've got the Discord server linked in the chat. If you want to get involved and have a load of football talk, that is the place to be. And it's completely free to do it, so why wouldn't you? Oh, we need 6 likes for 100. We can get those last 6, please. 6 likes. 6 likes. Also, the other thing to plug, which is also linked in the chat, it is also linked in the community tab on this channel, and also in the Discord as well, is the second channel, which has just launched. I did the first video yesterday, looking at Nottingham Forest, and that is going to be the aim for that channel, to talk about different teams, to cover Champions League matches, international football, transfers for different teams, just football on a wider scale, rather than just United. So if that is something that you're interested in, go subscribe to the AJ Talks Tactics channel. Total yesterday, we done 3 uploads, which I think is a record for us across the 2 channels. Pretty pleased with that. Is that everything? Have I plugged everything that I need to plug? I think I have. I was meant to be uploading a video today looking at our set pieces, but something came up this morning, which meant that I can't do it today, but you're going to get it tomorrow instead. You're not losing a video there because I wasn't going to upload tomorrow, so it's just been delayed. You're going to get the same amount of videos. In terms of streams, I'm hoping to be live before kickoff on Sunday, although it is my brother's birthday, so don't hold me to it. I would like to be. Depends what the plans are. But if not, I will analyse the game, of course, on the day as usual, and that video will be out on Sunday. I'm just waffling, waiting for us to get the 2 more likes that we need to get to 100 likes. If you could, please press like, please, before you leave. Press like. Press Press like. Are we there yet, Chad? Chad, let me know when we're there, mate. Are we there? Who cares? It's Callum. Manu, that is not very nice. But I know you mean it, and I know it comes from the bottom of your heart. So fair play. Why not start Ericsson this time? Possibly in one of the inside forward positions. Have we hit 100 likes yet? I can't see it. It's stupid. It's weird that I can't see it, but you guys can. We just need 1 like. Is that all we need? I'm logging on. Hang on. I'll get us to 100 likes, boys. If it's the last thing I do, we'll hit 100. We'll hit 100. You best believe that. It's not loading. It's not loading. This is really awkward. I've just given it the big one. Are we at 100 yet? We're at 100. We're at 100. I didn't even need to log on and leave the like. You guys are legends. You had it covered. Thank you guys very much for liking, for becoming a member, for renewing memberships, for gifting memberships. David, legend, as always. Yeah, I will catch you guys hopefully next stream on Sunday. If not, it'll be next week. Videos coming tomorrow and Sunday and Monday and Tuesday and so on. Hopefully United give us a win this weekend and more positivity to talk about, building on some of the good stuff we saw in the first half against Ipswich. Will that ever happen? I don't know. We'll see. But I reckon we win. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you have enjoyed the stream. I will catch a load of you guys in a Discord. I'll be active for the next couple of hours, I would hope. So I will see you over there. If not, I'll catch you when I catch you. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.